What's up, everyone? Welcome to King Anime Review, and for this video I'm going to be talking about manga sales, and I'm going to be providing facts to prove One Piece isn't the most popular manga of all time. And before I get into those facts, I just want to quickly make a statement. So quality does not equal quantity, and the reason I say that is because a lot of people try to bring up sales to prove, they try to use sales to prove that their favorite series is better from a quality standpoint than another person's favorite series, which doesn't make sense. It doesn't work because quality does not equal quantity. Quantity is the amount something has. Quality is the degree of excellence something is, whether how good or bad something is. And in most cases, that's subjective, but you can't try to use, you can, present points to try to prove if something is good or bad from a quality standpoint. But anyways, you shouldn't use quality to try to, you shouldn't use the quantity or the amount of sales something has to prove that that thing is better than something else from a quality standpoint, because quality does not equal quantity. Now let's get into the facts. And the reason I'm making this video is because a lot of One Piece fans love bragging about sales, and they actually think One Piece is the most popular manga around the world in history, and it's not. Yes, One Piece is the best-selling manga of all time, but it's not the most popular manga of all time. Now, let's get into the facts of why that is the case. Firstly, this year, Kimetsu no Yaiba has broken One Piece's all-time record for One Piece's peak amount of manga volumes sales in Japan for one calendar year. So back in like 2011 or 2012, One Piece sold 37 million, a little over 37 million copies, I believe. And at the time, that was One Piece held the record from then all the way until now. It held the record for the most amount of manga volumes sold in Japan for one calendar year. But Kimetsu no Yaiba this year in 2020, and 2020 isn't over with yet, we're only halfway through the year, but this year Kimetsu no Yaiba has completely destroyed One Piece's record because it has sold 45 million copies, a little over 45 million copies, I believe, in 2020 in Japan. And the year isn't over with yet. So like I said, for One Piece back in 2011 or 2012, it sold a little over 37 million copies in 1 year, whereas Kimetsu no Yaiba, and that's only in Japan, by the way, and whereas Kimetsu no Yaiba in Japan this year, and we only halfway through the year, has sold over 45 million copies. So Kimetsu no Yaiba has beaten One Piece's all-time peak when it comes to yearly manga sales. Yes, One Piece is still the best-selling manga of all time, but Kimetsu no Yaiba is more popular in Japan than One Piece ever was, and you can't dispute that. It's facts. It's pure facts that Kimetsu no Yaiba has sold more than One Piece ever did at One Piece's all-time peak for yearly manga sales in Japan. Meaning Kimetsu no Yaiba, like I just said, is more popular than One Piece ever was in Japan. Now, outside of Japan, One Piece never was the most popular manga or the best-selling manga because Naruto outsold One Piece, and it still does outsell One Piece in foreign countries. Now, the most recently available data for Naruto foreign sales outside of Japan is 95 million copies. Naruto has sold about 95 million copies. Actually, it sold over 95 million copies outside of Japan. Whereas One Piece, via the most recently available data for One Piece, it has sold about 70 million copies outside of Japan. And by the most recently available data, I mean, since manga volumes come out a lot later in foreign countries than they do in Japan. Like, for example, in Japan, a manga volume might come out in like January. In the United States and other foreign countries, that same manga volume might not come out until like May or June. It's a big gap between when manga volumes are released in Japan compared to when they're released in foreign countries. But because of that, based off the most recently available data, One Piece has sold 70 million copies. Based off the most recently available data, it has sold 70 million copies outside of Japan. And inside Japan, it has sold about 390 million copies. And so, yeah, the most recently available data, I'm going to have the information on the side of the screen so you can look at the facts, but the most recently available data for One Piece, that was in 2017. For Naruto, it was in 2014 or 2015. for Naruto. So Naruto's is a little bit older when it comes to the most recently available data for Naruto. But for Naruto, it sold 90 million copies outside of Japan. And inside Japan, it sold about 140 million copies. So yeah, One Piece has always been more popular, and it is always sold more when it comes to manga in Japan than Naruto. But outside of Japan, Naruto has always sold more than One Piece, and it still does. Now, first off, manga sell more in Japan than they do in foreign countries because that's where it originates at. And anime and manga isn't as popular in foreign countries as it is in Japan. But what this information tells me is Naruto in more countries, Naruto is popular than One Piece. One Piece is only more popular than Naruto in Japan and maybe a couple other countries now. But overall, across the globe, Naruto is more popular in more countries across the globe than One Piece. So that proves that Naruto is more popular than One Piece across the globe, whereas One Piece is only more popular than Naruto in Japan, or at least mainly more popular than Naruto in Japan, because Naruto has more overall foreign sales than One Piece. And even Oda admitted that he was jealous of Kishimoto. He was jealous of the fact that Kishimoto's series Naruto was getting more foreign sales and was more popular than One Piece in foreign countries. So with that being said, I've already proven that Kimetsu no Yaiba is more popular than One Piece ever was in Japan, outside of Japan, and in the most amount of countries, in more countries around the globe. Naruto is more popular than One Piece. So worldwide, Naruto is more popular, and it has sold more manga volumes than One Piece across the globe, whereas One Piece is only sold more in Japan. Japan isn't the only country on Earth. It isn't the only country that matters. So basically what I'm saying is, yes, One Piece overall has sold more, and it is the best-selling manga of all time. The vast majority of One Piece's manga sales is from Japan, whereas Naruto has sold more in more amount of countries than One Piece ever did. So, also, I want to point out another fact. Dragon Ball was the best-selling manga of all time until 2015, I believe. 2015 is when One Piece actually became the best-selling manga of all time. And One Piece started in 1997, and it ended it's still ongoing. But yeah, it's been around since 1997. That's 23 years. And in 2015, that's when it became the best-selling manga, I believe. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. That means it took One Piece 18 years to beat Dragon Ball's record and become the best-selling manga of all time. And the reason that's important is because if One Piece and Dragon Ball were the same length, Dragon Ball would still be the best-selling manga of all time. The only reason One Piece is the best-selling manga of all time is because it has more manga volumes than Dragon Ball. And that's a fact, because Dragon Ball started in 1984 and it ended in 1995. That's 11 years. So in 11 years, Dragon Ball, that's how long it took Dragon Ball to become the best-selling manga of all time. But it took One Piece 18 years, which is 7 more years, to actually beat Dragon Ball's record. That's nearly a whole decade it took for One Piece to actually beat Dragon Ball's record and become the best-selling manga of all time. So those are all the facts when it comes to manga sales. Now I'm going to be talking about a little bit, some other stuff. Popularity in general. Now, when you're talking about popularity in general, you can't just use sales to try to say something is more popular, because there's other things at play. First off, a lot of manga isn't available in every single country across the globe. Anime is actually more readily available in more countries than manga is. Manga isn't available in every country. Anime is available in more countries than manga. So that's one factor. And anime in general is more popular than manga in general. Even in Japan, not just outside of Japan, but even in Japan, anime is more popular than manga. For example, Attack on Titan in 2011, it wasn't even in the top 10 best-selling mangas in Japan. It was like number 11. But in 2000, I think that was 2011 or 2012 when it was I think it was 2012 actually. Attack on Titan was the 11th best-selling manga in Japan. And like a year later, when the anime came out in 2013, it jumped all the way to the second best-selling manga in Japan. So when the anime comes out, it boosts the popularity of the manga series. So anime in general is just more popular than manga. But the reason I'm talking about that is because Naruto is actually the most popular manga around the world. And actually, I'm gonna have the proof on the side of the screen to show you that. But Naruto is the most popular, is the most popular manga in the world. In the world. So, I mean, not manga, anime. So, yeah, that's another thing to prove that Naruto is actually more popular than One Piece. So, I believe that's all I want to say. And before I end the video, I'm going to debunk somebody's argument real quick because I was arguing with a guy, a foreign dude, and he basically said that he used the analogy, a soccer analogy, to try to prove that One Piece is the best, right? So he said since One Piece is the best-selling manga of all time, that automatically means it's the best manga of all time. And keep in mind what I said at the start of this video. Quality does not equal quantity. So just because something has more sales doesn't mean it's better from a quality standpoint. But basically his whole argument was since something is selling more popularity, basically, that means it's entertaining more people, which means it's better from a factual, objective standpoint because it's entertaining more people. No, that doesn't mean it's better. Just because more people like something doesn't mean it's better from a quality standpoint because, like I said, quantity does not equal quality. But he used a soccer analogy, and his analogy was he has a favorite team. He said I have a favorite team, but my favorite team isn't the best team of all time because they haven't won the most amount of championships of all time. Now, you can't compare sports to fiction because sports is based off of the ability of the athletes involved. Whereas it comes to fiction, when you're talking about fictional sales, the sales of a fictional series, which like One Piece, he's talking about the sales of a fictional series. That's not based off of the quality. That's not based off of the ability of the person involved or the people involved. That's based off of the amount of people who like it, basically. So just because more people like it doesn't mean Oda, for example, has better storytelling. No, you can't use that. I'm trying to break this down really simple for you guys to understand, but yeah, sports is based off of the actual abilities of the people involved. For example, I'm gonna give you an analogy myself. So somebody has, or I'm gonna say, okay, so the Green Bay Packers. I'm gonna say the Green Bay Packers is my favorite team, right? Just like, for example, I would say Naruto is my favorite manga. So, or my favorite manga series. And the Green Bay Packers is my favorite team, right? So, whatever. So, that's that. But fiction and sports are different things. For fiction, just because somebody thinks something is better, like just because I favor Naruto, for example, just because I think Naruto is the best, just because I favor Naruto, doesn't mean objectively, just because off of the sole fact that it's my favorite, doesn't mean objectively it's better than everything else. But when it comes to sports, since sports is based off of the actual abilities of the athletes involved, sports is different from fiction because it's not based off of subjectivity. It's not based off of your subjective opinion. There are actual facts to prove that a team is better based off how many championships they won. When it comes to sales, that proves something is better from a quantity standpoint. It has more sales, but it doesn't prove that something is better from a quality standpoint. So I hope that gets the message across. I hope you guys understand what I mean by that. So you shouldn't use sports. You shouldn't compare sports to, you shouldn't compare athletes' achievements, which they earn. They earn their achievements based off of their own abilities. You shouldn't compare that to the amount of sales something has when it comes to fictional story, because that's solely based off of popularity. That's not based off of quality. Now, with that being said, I'm done with the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hold on. Don't go anywhere yet. There's just one more point I want to bring up. Yes, you can use sales to try to gauge the popularity of something, but sales isn't the only thing that should be used to gauge popularity, and it's not the only factor when it comes to talking about popularity. It's not the only thing that factors into popularity, because something can be insanely popular but not sell in general. Like, for example, YouTubers, it's people who got billions of views, but it's not like they selling billions of copies of something. You gauge their popularity based off of their viewership or how many subscribers they got. Also, when it comes to manga, there's a lot of manga that have been running for a long time. I'm talking about decades. For example, Kochi Kame. That's a manga that ran for 40 years. It was putting out new manga volumes for 40 years. And it's in the top 5 best-selling manga of all time. Or, yeah, I believe either top 5 or top 6. And it actually sold more than Bleach. but it's not more popular than Bleach. Bleach is a manga series that ran for 15 years. It was putting out new manga volumes for 15 years, whereas Kochikame was putting out more new manga volumes for 40 years. That's way longer. So if something has been around a lot longer, it's had more time to generate sales, but that doesn't mean it's more popular because Bleach was actually in the top 10 best-selling manga for multiple years. Multiple years. It was actually the second best-selling manga in Japan for multiple years. I mean, not for multiple years. Only I believe it was only 1 year. It was the second best-selling. But yeah. So you can use viewership to actually gauge popularity. Popularity shouldn't be gauged solely off of sales. But anyways, that's all I got to say. Thanks for watching the video, and peace. This is the last thing I'm going to add before I end the video. If you watched the entire video, please comment #watched_all so I know you watched the full thing. But I got to make this very clear. Naruto is more popular than One Piece worldwide. I provided evidence showing that Naruto is the most popular anime worldwide. That's actually confirmed. And as I talked about in this video, anime is more popular than manga. That's always been the case. And especially in foreign countries. In foreign countries, manga is pirated and all types of stuff. So manga doesn't sell that much in foreign countries, even if it is somewhat popular in foreign countries. But Naruto is more popular in more countries. Not only is it the most popular anime worldwide, I provided evidence in this video, a picture that showed that, but also it has sold more manga volumes in more countries than One Piece. So if something is selling in more countries than something else, then that means it's more popular worldwide. You gauge worldwide popularity not off of one country. You can't use one country to gauge worldwide popularity. You gauge worldwide popularity off of how many countries this thing is popular in. Because what if One Piece sold, like, okay, say One Piece never sold anything outside of Japan, but it's still the best-selling manga of all time in general. You can't say it's the most popular manga worldwide then, because it's only selling more in Japan. It's not selling more in other countries. So that's the point.